Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the celebration of the 107th anniversary of Albanian independence in the chambers of New York City Council and City Hall. Today we are hosted by New York City Council Speaker Corey Johnson, our very own New York City Councilman Mark Joanai, as well as council members representing all of the New York City boroughs, Joseph Borelli, Justin Brennan, Andrew Cohen, Chaim Deutsch, Barry Grodenchik, Robert Holden, Carolina Rivera, Richie Torres, Paul Vallone, and Kalmar Yeager. Please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America and the Republic of Albania, performed by the Albanian-American young artist Jessica Araya, and the Color Guard March from the proud Albanian-American NYPD Illyrian Society of Law Enforcement Officers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you so much. Faleminderit. We're now going to do the Albanian national anthem. So if you know it, please sing along with me. Rreth flamurit e përbashkuar, me një dëshirë një qëllim, të gjitha ty duke u betuar, ne lidhim besën për shpëtim. Prej lufteve qa i largohet, që ishte I lindur dhradhe ton, kush është e burhe, nuk frikohet, po vdes si një dëshmor. Faleminderit. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this celebration. My name is Florinda Kaitaze. I am Miss New York USA 2019. I proudly represent the great state of New York, as well as proudly standing here today as an Albanian American. Today, I'm wearing a beauty crown, but it comes with civic and empowering duties, ethnic pride, professional achievements, and the ability to break down stereotypes. In my case, I have a degree in forensic psychology. I also have a black belt, second degree in Taekwondo. And I work in programs that help non-English speaking people in domestic violence issues. I help promote these different programs. As an Albanian American woman, I feel honored to be here, to be able to celebrate an important milestone in our history as we celebrate our heritage, culture, and the different regions we come from, but also our individual stories of success that we weave into this amazing fabric of this great city. At this time, please allow me to welcome Father Peter Popaj from Our Lady of Shkodra Parish for the invocation.
Reverend clergy, New York City Council Speaker Corey Johnson, Council Member Mr. Mark Jonai, all the elected officials that are present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a great honor and privilege for me to be here tonight. First, we thank the City of New York for recognizing and allowing us to celebrate this most precious day, and the Councilman, Mr. Mark Jonai, for organizing this event to be held in this prestigious place, the 107th anniversary of the independence of Albania. The 28th of November, 1912, was the day when a new independent state of Albania was born. This year, the Thanksgiving feast falls also on the same day. How appropriate, indeed, our independence is a feast of thanksgiving for us. We thank God for this miracle, for the steadfastness and bravery of our heroes and heroines that gave their lives by shedding their blood throughout our history, the support of our good friends, and we thank God for the United States of America that even then helped us form the new state of Albania. This new state became the nucleus, the heart that circulated the blood in Albanians in Albania, those in occupied territories, and everywhere else in diaspora. Although today we are two states, but we are one people with one language, one culture, one history. We are also of two main religions, Christianity and Islam, but we all believe in one God. We always stand united, and when one perseveres, we all persevere. And when one suffers, we all suffer together. Tonight, we ask God to bless this unity. Bless our countries and our leaders here in the United States of America, Albania, Kosovo, and all over the world, that they lead their people with integrity, wisdom, and truth. That the nations drop the weapons of war and violence and embrace peace. God created us to know, worship, love, and serve Him, and to love and serve one another. There will always be peace on earth when we recognize that we all belong to one God in heaven as our Creator, and that we belong to one another as brothers and sisters here on earth. God bless you. God bless Albania, Kosovo. God bless the United States of America. Happy independence. Thank you.
Please allow me to welcome Ambassador of the Republic of Albania to the United States, Floretta Faber, for a few remarks.
Mirëmbrëma të gjithëve. Good evening, everyone. Dear Councilman Gjonaj, dear representatives of the Albanian community, dear members of the City Council of New York, my colleague, e dashur Vasfije, Anna, Lutfi, Salih, Frank, it's such a great pleasure to be here with all of you tonight. I'm honored to be today to celebrate with you 107th anniversary of Albanian National Day. On this very special day, November 28, 1912, the father of our modern state, Ismail Qemali, declared Albanian independence. As I was preparing for this ceremony, I was thinking that exactly 30 years ago, like many of you probably in this room, I was in my last year in the university and I was doing my military service. Exactly 30 years ago, where we all were taught in school that we have our big enemy, and that was United States of America. In my wildest dream, I could never, ever think that time that I will be standing in front of you all as the ambassador of the Republic of Albania, together with the Albanian community here in the City Council of New York, in the heart of Manhattan, in the heart of United States, celebrating the Albanian National Day. Trust me, this is one of the biggest achievements ever from the Albanian American community. Thank you, Mark Gjonaj. Thank you for making this big dream a reality. Albanian diaspora has played a big role in the relationship between Albania and the United States, and this great nation has been always supportive of Albanians. For a small country like Albania, the support of the President Woodrow Wilson at the Paris Conference, where he deemed Albania ought to be independent, was a defining moment for the fate of our nation. In fact, in all our historic efforts since that declaration of independence, Albania has always had the support of the United States. I also wanted to go to that important fact that this year, Albanian Independence Day, it's on the same day with this great celebration of Thanksgiving here in the United States. So it's the best day we can say thank you. We are thankful for the unwavering support of the US toward Albania's Euro-Atlantic integration, as today we stand together with United States as NATO allies, as partners in fighting against terrorism and violent extremism, and as we see their support in our way towards being members of the European Union. Thank you to the continued support of United States, and Albania has always been taken very big initiatives, and now we are taking the next step in the international stage. As you know, Albania in 2020 will be the head of OSCE as one of the biggest steps of multilateral involvement after we became NATO members. Albania is also aspiring and it's bidding for a non-permanent seat at the Security Council 22-23, a clear sign of our determination. Now it's time to contribute to the common principles for global security, stability, and prosperity. Apart from its role in international organizations and initiatives, Albania plays a constructive role in the Western Balkans, contributing towards stability and regional cooperation. I would like to congratulate all the honorees tonight, but let me specifically be thankful to one of them. I want to thank and express my deepest gratitude to an incredible woman who has been a sexual violence survivor of war, and today is the voice and inspiration of 20,000 victims of sexual violence survivors from the war in Kosovo. Thank you, dear Vasfie. I want to thank everyone, but I want to specifically thank you for your bravery, courage. You are an inspiration to all of us. One more. I want to use one more time the opportunity to say thank you to the City Council and all the councilmen. Thank you, Mr. Mark Jonaj, for this opportunity to all the Albanian American community. I'm sure for some of them in this room, it has been a dream of decades to have the Albanian flag raised in this very hall and to say in Albanian, gëzuar ditën e flamurit.
New York City is a melting pot for so many ethnicities, and we are grateful for the opportunities given to all the communities to prosper and thrive while preserving their language and culture. Alba Life School is recognized as one of the ambassadors of the nation for teaching and preserving the Albanian language, history, and culture, and is now in its 11th year of operation in Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. It is my pleasure to invite the Alba Life Children's Choir under the direction of Adelina Lokaj with the song dedicated to the Albanian flag, Ti flamur të dua shumë. It is my distinct pleasure to invite now one of our own who proudly represents us in the New York State Assembly, one who speaks in these chambers on behalf of the residents of District 13th and the Bronx and proudly displays next to his name the flags of the United States, Albania, and Kosovo. A proud Albanian American with a vision, a leader for the Albanian American community, New York City Councilman Mark Joanai.
Mirë mbrëma komuniteti shqiptar. Gëzuar dita flamurit. Good evening. I want to thank you, first of all, Florinda, for that wonderful introduction and for your accomplishments. Can we give Miss New York a round of applause? Tonight is a remarkable night for me and for those of you that are fortunate to be here with us. As a community, we've come a long way. We've reached some incredible milestones and also realized how much more we have to do. I want to thank all of you for being here, for making the time to celebrate our Day of Independence, our ethnicity. I'd like to acknowledge some of the special guests that are here this evening with us. Ambassador of the Republic of Albania to the United States, Floretta Faber. Let's give her a round of applause. The Ambassador of the General Council of the Republic of Kosovo, Teuta Sihagiu, which just left as she was invited to state business, and we'd rather have her representing the country of Kosovo on our behalf. Father Peter Popeye of Our Lady of Shkodra Parish. My dear friend and Rojo, Imam Eden Gioni of the Albanian American Center of Queens. Westchester County Legislator Vedat Gashi. I don't see her here, but is New York State Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez here yet? If not, I'm sure she's on her way. Let's give her a round of applause. And to the council members, my colleagues, I want to thank you for helping make tonight such a special night. Indeed, a special day in the New York City Council chambers, and one that we'll remember, not only as we recall our 107th anniversary, but get to appreciate the young men and women that were just up on this floor, that are second and third generation Albanian Americans that are still speaking the Albanian language. Let's give those brave children, incredible children, and their parents a round of applause for teaching them the Albanian language, for making sure that they don't forget their traditions and their culture. But it's incredible that we can celebrate our 107th anniversary in the very institution that is a beacon of democracy in the greatest city in the world. So it's with emotion that I stand here this evening as I look out across this room and reflect on the hurdles that you have overcome to be here. As I reflect on the accomplishments that you've achieved in this great country, such as those brave men that marched in with the Albanian and the American flag, that currently serve in the greatest police force in the world, in the NYPD. Let's give them a round of applause. Because you not only serve in the law enforcement, but you serve on the front lines in our military, at the head of the classroom as our educators, as the leaders in our financial markets, as our doctors in the emergency rooms, and all the other professions that currently exist. Your entrepreneurship, from property owners to restaurant owners to construction workers to attorneys, you truly are the fabric that makes this city such a great city and the greatest city in the world, in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. My staff did a great job of giving me talking points. And rather than discuss our history, which you all know, and yes, it should be noted that it's our 107th anniversary, that after a long period of oppression, exploitation, that an independent Albania was born on November of 1912, with a handful of courageous patriots united and raised the red and black banner of freedom. The unjustly drawn territories within present day Kosovo, Montenegro, Macedonia, Chemria, and Preševa were left out of the newly drawn border lines. Albanians, no matter where they happen to live, join in celebration of our Declaration of Independence. From territories around the world and in countries around the world, we come together to celebrate with one voice, regardless of region, regardless of religion, regardless of political affiliation, and stand united to recognize our independence. Even against the political manipulations and even genocide that you've experienced, you have held onto your language, your traditions, your culture. We're very fortunate to live in this country, whereas you become productive members in society, it allows you the right to hold on to your rich culture, to preserve your language. It allows you and gives you the right to be both a proud American and a proud Albanian. So borders do not define who we are. We're only as strong and as united or as weak as we are divided. Tonight's celebration is special as we symbolically honor 5 members of the Albanian American community who represent their respective ethnic Albanian territories. Gjergj Kastrioti Skenderbeg, was an Albanian national hero who united all the Albanian princesses against the Ottomans in 1444, an action that not only brought liberty, but served as the foundation of the Albanian national aspirations toward its independence. There are many legends about him: his bravery, his helmet, his sword, which are currently in display in Vienna, Austria. I am glad to share that a replica of his helmet, a symbol of the resistance and the unity, has been reproduced by an Albanian American artist, Orgis Kokarsi. And through his generosity and in significance to this event, we will be representing to all our honorees and co-hosting council members. Apparently my pages are not in order. I take back what I said about my talented staff. A helmet, I just can't find the page, but it is that helmet that will be given to the honorees as well as my council members that are here tonight to help that have made tonight such a success. Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome tonight I'm glad to be joined by fellow council members who will help me recognize this evening's honorees. Please help me invite my friend and my colleague and New York City Councilman Andy Cohen, who will introduce to the NYPD Officer Lutfi Dalipi.
Good evening, everybody. It's really a privilege to be here tonight. I am so pleased that Mark invited me to participate. I know that Mark, when he served in the state legislature, my council district and his assembly district overlapped. And really, his experience, his ties, obviously, to the Albanian community made me a better council member, helped me serve a constituency that was underserved, that wanted a seat at the table, that wanted to have their voices heard, and for that partnership, I am incredibly grateful. I know Mark is the first Albanian member of the New York State Legislature and the New York City Council, and that should obviously be recognized, and it's a tremendous achievement. But Albanians permeate our culture all over the Northwest Bronx. I have constituents who are participating in daily civic life, business leaders, friends here that I see, small business owners who really make my district as wonderful as I think it is, and it's their participation and their leadership that does that. So I'm very, very grateful for all of you here who support me and support my district and support my constituents. Thank you. Sure, you deserve an applause. And I think that the person that I've been asked to recognize really epitomizes that. A New York City police captain, somebody who worked their way up through the ranks, through various precincts, through narcotics, through vice, through really just, embodies the American dream, that doing it, making it in this city. So I'm very, very pleased to ask Lutfi Dalipi, I hope I did that a good job, up here to receive, we have a citation for you.
Thank you, Councilmember Cohen, for that introduction. I'd like to thank Speaker Johnson, Councilmember Mark Jonah, and his staff, and hosting council members for this honor. Thank you to the members of the Albanian community and business leaders here tonight in support. As well, thank you to the members of the Illyrian Society, who are a shining example of how Albanians contribute to this great country. It is important for people to be able to celebrate their culture. Albanians in particular are a very proud people. I feel that most of us tell people that we're Albanian before we even then tell them our names. We have a sense of pride that no matter what adversity we have faced throughout history, we have held on to our culture and traditions and never forgot who we are. The Albanian community is a tight-knit community and one that is always eager to show appreciation to the United States for what it has done for us. As this event was getting started, while listening to Albanian music being played and seeing the Albanian flag being raised next to the American flag, it dawned on me that there are still places in the world where you can be jailed or killed for waving your flag or speaking your language. I took a moment to recognize just how lucky we are to live in this great country that not only celebrates its people, but accepts them no matter what religion they are, what culture, and what language they speak. I'm proud to be I'm proud and humbled to be part of both this world-class department and this great country. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Dalipi. Please help me invite my colleague, an incredible woman, a very powerful woman in the City Council. I'm sorry, wrong one. Let's try this again. Please help me welcome my friend, my colleague, Councilman Kalman Yeager, who will introduce Dr. Anna Cohen.
It's always a series of moving parts with my friend Mark Jonai. To my friends in the Albanian community, I just want you to know, Mark and I were elected on the same day 2 years ago, and we attended new council members school here together with Councilmember Rivera down there, where they were teaching us the ins, the outs, the ifs, the ands, the buts. And Mark was already a seasoned legislator, and he was my friend for a number of years before that. And you ought to be proud of your own son, of what you sent to Albany, of who you sent here in the council. He's doing a fantastic job. He stands up, he speaks his mind. Sometimes it gets him in trouble. I know a little bit about that. But he represents you with honor and with dignity, and he does it every day, and he does it well. So you ought to appreciate that, and thank you very much. So what's the Jewish kid from Brooklyn doing here at the independence of Albania? Well, first of all, I'm a firm believer that here in New York City, if I'm going to ask anybody to celebrate the independence of anything, I ought to be willing to celebrate the independence of everything. And I do. And I'm grateful to the people of Albania for what you've done for my people. Albania is the only nation in occupied Eastern Europe that ended World War II with more Jews in it than had been there before. That to me is an incredibly important thing. First of all, to you it ought to be. For me, I am the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. I am the son of immigrants, the grandson of immigrants, people who escaped the Holocaust in different ways and made it through, but for the generosity of, in certain instances, the Japanese people, the Chinese people, my mother's side of the family would not have survived. And there are today tens of thousands of people who are able to say, but for the generosity and the kindness of the Albanian people, they would not have survived. And for that, I am incredibly grateful, and you ought to honor that heritage as I do tonight. I am privileged to have the opportunity to present an honor to somebody who I met for the first time this evening. I'm not going to lie and tell you that we're old friends, but she is an accomplished person in her own right. Her name is Dr. Anna Cohen. You may know her, please. Dr. Cohen, I am told, is known as the Jewish daughter of Albania, and that's okay. It's a fair title and an honor title to have. You're a doctor with an exemplary career in dentistry here in the city, New York City, women's rights activist, a founder of the Albanian American Women's Organization. Born in Vlora, Albania, to a surviving Albanian Jewish family, Dr. Cohen has made her life here in the city. She's participated in philanthropy. She's participated in communal life. She's participated in making this city a great city. But most importantly, she's participated in perpetuating the history of the Albanian Jewish experience, making sure that the legacy of what the Albanian people have done for the Jewish people live on. She is incredible. She is honored tonight by my friend and colleague and my brother, Councilman Mark Jonai, and now by me. So I'd like you to join me up here if you don't mind. And I believe we have some accoutrements to present. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mazel Tov. And apparently, they're going to give you a helmet. I don't think it's mandatory that you wear it, but it's mandatory that you take it. And this, I hold this, and Mark is the expert. Mazel tov. Let's scoot over here so we can make it official. I'm going to hold on to this. You turn around and face the next camera. There we go. Say your words.
Speaker Corey Johnson, council members, Council Mark Jonai, members of the Albanian and Jewish communities, honorees, ladies and gentlemen, Motra and Blazer. I'm so humbled and honored to be here today, celebrating the 107th independence of Albania from the Ottoman Empire with all of you. The Declaration of Independence flag was raised by Albanian diplomat Ismail Gjemali on November 28, 1912, in the city of Lora, the city where I am born. From Greek Jewish parents, the city that I hold with pride the title of honored citizen of Lora. Besides the Albanians, the local Jews also participated in a struggle for the independence of Albania. After the Declaration of Independence, leader Ismail Gjemali and friends went to Kantozi Jewish family in Vlora to celebrate the independence of Albania. We are so lucky here in New York City to have one of our own as a city council. We would like, therefore, to recognize Council Mark Jonai, who made this event possible to celebrate independence in this historic city hall for the first time ever. A special thank you, Mr. Jonai, for what you do for all the communities that you represent in your district. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate all the tonight's honorees. Happy Independence Day, Albania. I am so honored to represent you. And as you can see, I'm wearing the Albanian flag.
Thank you. Mazel tov. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Okay, take a picture.
Thank you. Please help me welcome, as I recognize, as I was saying earlier, a very incredible woman, a very strong woman that I have the honor and pleasure serving with. My friend and colleague, New York City Councilwoman Carolina Rivera.
Good. Mir Mrama. Thank you so much. I am very, very honored to be here. I am so proud to be a New York City Councilwoman, and I represent the Lower East Side. And the Lower East Side has a very special history of being an accepting place that has welcomed many waves of immigrants. And so I have been very lucky to be surrounded by many different cultures and celebrations. And I know that with all the challenges that are before us and our history, which can sometimes be heartbreaking, it is so important that we acknowledge all of our challenges so that we can build a better future for everyone. And of course, we always have to remember to celebrate. And our next honoree is someone I'm very, very honored to recognize. Our next honoree is a heroine. She is strong and courageous. She stood up and spoke not only for herself, but also on behalf of 20,000 survivors of sexual war violence. During the last war in Kosovo, at the age of 16, Vasfije Krasniki Goodman was abducted by Serbian police officers and experienced sexual violence. At the age of 18, she moved to the United States where she started a family and now has 2 daughters and a husband who fully support her. Vasfije is a survivor of sexual wartime crimes, and despite the lack of justice and closure in her case, she has pledged to encourage women all over to speak out against their abusers, whether through the Kosovo Rehabilitation Center for Torture Victims, and through this global movement to end sexual violence in conflicts and justice for all, an NGO she co-founded. In April 2019, she was invited to the US Congress to testify against Serbian war crimes committed to Albanians during the war. Last month, I was glad to stand by her on behalf of the New York City Council Women's Caucus, as she was one of the main speakers at Rally for Her Justice in New York City, an important movement to call on for justice for the unpunished war crimes of sexual violence in Bosnia, Croatia, and Kosovo. Tonight, on this Albanian independence celebration, we are glad to honor Vasfije Krasniki Goodman in the New York City Council.
Good evening, all. I am extremely shaky. I'm jet-lagged. I'm sick. I don't feel too well. First of all, I would like to wish you all Happy Independence Day. As I stand here by the Albanian flag, it is very hard for me to imagine, because of this flag, I was raped and I was tortured. But this flag gives us courage to fight, to unite as Albanians, no matter where we are. I would like to thank Mark Jonai and all his incredible staff, even if they don't put the speech papers like they're supposed to. I had a pleasure to meet Mark Jonai last May in Kosovo, and I'm very thankful he joined my cause to fight to end stigma and to bring justice to all the rape survivors, not only in Kosovo, but around the world. Thank you, Mark, very much. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And to all the Albanians, thank you very much for the support you have given me this past year, and to my family. Thank you for always being there.
Vasile, thank you for your courage and your strength. And I proudly say in this great room of this incredible institution that stands for justice and democracy, that there will be no peace until justice is served for you and the many more that have suffered of war crimes in Kosovo. Our next honoree, someone known to all of us, Salih Bellotti, who still remembers the drama as a 7-year-old kid on June 27th, 1944, in Chamria, when he and his family were forcibly displaced. He still remembers his mother's cry asking to hurry up and leave among fear and gunshots as Greek soldiers killed his father, little sister, and others. Chamria lays in the southernmost region of Albania. Its territory was unjustly left outside of the territories of Albania, within the borderlines of today's Greece. Its population was expelled after World War II. They were displaced to Albania and never allowed to return. Salih Bellotti's journey started from Chamria, where he was born, Albania, where he was raised as an orphan, former Czechoslovakian, where he graduated college, and then all the way to the blessed US of A and New York City, where he worked and calls home. He was only allowed to visit his birthplace after he obtained a US passport in 2010. 67 years after he and his family were expelled. It is my incredible honor tonight, with all of you, to recognize Salih Bellotti as a survivor for his relentless efforts to raise awareness about the unjust treatment of the Chamria issue. Remember the victims and call for justice, as justice delayed is justice denied. Please welcome my dear friend and our hero, Salih Bellotti.
Mi mbrëma të gjithëve, e mirë se kemi ardhur këtu të gjithë në zemrën e New Yorkut. We are all here on the heart of New York, city of New York, that is the biggest city in the world and respect the human rights more than every other. Here in this city, in the big city, my region country that was occupied by Greece 160 years ago, in Albania, we are sons of Albania. Even në infrashëri, thoshte, e një vjen prej qamërie me këto milëra fjalë e me gluhë përëndije, e jemi krenar që jemi shqiptar. I hope, I bless the God and this blessed country to help us. And dear Marco Jonai, maybe with one of the biggest friends of Albanians here, Elliot Engel, to make any hearing in the Congress of United States that still we are alive, to be and to say what happened to me, what happened to us. Please, it's only United States. With your help, with such people, they have in their heart Albanian and educated with democracies of American, you are ready. We are thankful to you and to everybody to do something this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bellotti. Our next honoree is a media personality, a scholar, an expert on the Balkans and European affairs. He is the author of numerous books and hundreds of articles. Born in Ulcin, Montenegro, Frank Shkreli and his family escaped communist Yugoslavia in 1969 and arrived in the United States as political refugees and settled in the great borough of the Bronx. Ambitious and intelligent Shkreli started working while talking English language courses at Fordham University, enrolling at Lehman College and continuing his studies at George Washington University. Shkreli's broadcast journalism career kicked off at the Voice of America, Albanian Service Division. In 1994, Shkreli was appointed director of the European Division, responsible for all Voice of America radio and TV broadcasts in Europe, from the Baltics to the Balkans. His many accomplishments throughout his 40-year-long career included expanding various Voice of America languages, including Albanian broadcast, and successfully managing at various times close to 300 journalists, writers, and producers. Shkreli was a member of the first U.S. State Department delegation to Albania in 1991 to open the U.S. Embassy in Tirana. After the fall of communism and the member of many other U.S. government delegations to Albania and Kosovo, he has served as the executive director of the National Albanian American Council, a nonprofit organization dedicated to advocating for Albanians everywhere. I am proud to recognize tonight my dear friend, Frank Shkreli, for the vast contributions to the Albanian national cause and the Albanian community at large.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm extremely honored to be here actually tonight to be receiving such an important award from the City Council of the greatest city on the face of the earth in the presence of members of this council. I'm especially honored and privileged to receive this award from one of our own, Councilman Mark Jonai. I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart, Mark. Before I moved to Washington to work for the Voice of America in 1974, I had the honor to represent the Albanian American Catholic League in the Bronx in the first Albanian American Ethnic Community Corporation, along with representatives from the other founding organizations, the Albanian American Islamic Center in Brooklyn and St. Nicholas Orthodox Church in Queens. We actually did have a few meetings in this building at the time. So, Mark, if you allow me, it is in their memory that I would like to accept this award. I want to mention three people: Monsignor Zeforoshi, Imam Isa Hoxha, and Lazarus Pilleri, by honoring them as the original pioneers who worked to bring together the Albanian community citywide under a unified manner. In their honor, I accept this award. Thank you. Members of the Council, I'm sincerely grateful to you all, especially to you, Mark, and to your colleagues, for recognizing the Albanian Americans and their national symbols on the occasion of the Albanian Independence Day. God bless the United States of America and Albanians everywhere, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Frank. I am glad that tonight we have with us, all the way from Kosovo, an Albanian legend, a multi-dimensional singer, author of over 600 songs, most of which, at the most difficult times in our modern history, gave us hope and kept our spirits high as he called for justice and freedom, unity and togetherness. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to our dear friend and legend, Ilir Shachiri.
Mirëmbrëma të gjithëve. Good evening. E papritur për mua. Faleminderit shumë vllait ton Mark Jonai, njeriu që na bën krenar jo vetëm komunitetin shqiptar këtu në New York, po edhe neve atje në Shqipëri dhe në Kosovë. Ndjem shumë i nderuar që 28 nëntorin të këtij viti, pavarësinë e Shqipërisë, pavarësinë e gjitha trojeve tona, sepse Ismail Qemali, kur shpalli pavarësinë me 1912, e shpalli për gjitha trojet shqiptare, apo jo zoni ambasadore. Urime të gjithëve shqiptarëve, ditën e pavarësisë së Shqipërisë, ditën e flamurit tonë kombëtar. Urime, paqe gëzime.
Thank you, Ilir. I want to thank and recognize tonight's incredibly talented MC, Miss New York USA 2019, Florinda Katazi, who graciously represents New York State and the Albanian American community, and for doing a great job this evening. Thank you. I want to leave you with an African proverb that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And together as a community, we will go far, not only here in this great country, but for our homelands, our motherland, and our people back home. In my closing comments, I will say this in English and then in Albanian. I feel no greater strength and proudness than when I'm with my community. Se kur t'ju kam ju, më duket se e kam krejt botën marë. Roft populli shqiptar, roft Shqipnia, Kosova, God bless you all. God bless America. Albanians wherever they may be in the world. Gëzuar dita flamurit. Please sit. Don't move. We're not done.
Everyone, we're not done yet for the evening. We have a few more shows coming up. If everyone can have a seat. Okay. So Albanian dance is very unique. It's a symbol of our century-old dream to be free. It's often characterized by sharp, vertical, and spinning movements. The upcoming dance from the region of Devol will be performed by the Albo Life School of Staten Island. Please give them a round of applause. At this point, we're asking Imam Edin Joni from the Albanian American Islamic Center in Queens for the benediction.
Good evening. It is a great honor for me to stand in this chamber and commemorate the 107th anniversary of Albania's independence. Firstly, I would like to thank the Council Speaker Corey Johnson and Councilman Mark Jonai, my cousin, for having organized this beautiful event. This is the greatest day in Albania's history, the day when our forefathers of different faiths gathered together and were led by Ismail Bey Qemali to sign the Declaration of Independence in 1912. They raised a double-headed eagle flag to proclaim Albania's full emancipation, sovereignty, and the Albanians' right to determine their own fate and destiny on their own land. And yet, after only 7 years from the independence, and exactly 100 years ago, Albania was about to experience its darkest hour. During the Paris Peace Conference of 1919, the young state had almost been consumed by its ambitious neighbors if it wasn't for the intercession of 28th President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson. It was in that moment when Albanians learned who was their truest friend. Today, the Albanian eagle flies freely more than ever. An old Albanian saying says that the two heads of the eagle actually look to the past and to the future. In both sides of the time, we see that our fate, our destiny, as a nation and as a country, is tightly bound for this blessed country, the United States of America. Although today we proudly commemorate the anniversary of Albania's independence, at the same extent and same time, today we proudly remember all the efforts of the American people who protected Albania over the course of its history, for which we Albanians will always be and remain grateful. And now let us pray. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. As our forefathers have stood before you when the declaration was signed, on this day we rejoice in the favor that you have graciously given us. Our merciful Lord, we pray for peace, for love, for benevolence and unity, and please protect us from war, hate, greed, and division. Our guide, we kindly ask that you inspire all men and women who direct Albania as they undertake the mission of building a cohesive and democratic society. Help them remember the freedom they were granted and guide them to be just as they make decisions and execute power so that they may lead wisely and well. We pray that you bless Albania and Albanians and their greatest ally, the United States of America. Amen. Thank you very much. Urime dita pavarësisë. Happy Independence Day. Thank you very much.
There is nothing better or more beautiful than the beat, elegant steps, and amazing costumes, all intertwined in the Albanian traditional dance from the region of Tropoja. Welcoming the stage, Alba Life School of the Bronx and Brooklyn under the direction of Adelina Lokaj and ballet maestro Kelvis Tofai. guys did an amazing job. As this night is coming to an end, let's take this opportunity to thank New York City Council Speaker Johnson, New York's Councilman Mark Joanai. Let's thank all the honorees tonight. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Faleminderit edhe natën e mirë.